JDN Radio 101.5 FM, broadcasting for all.
Good morning, and it's another beautiful morning from JDN Radio 101.5 FM. Today, the 4th of March, 2026, and welcome to the newspaper review. And today, we'll be giving you the stories that made it to the front page of the dailies for this morning. And I have The Nation, I have The Punch newspaper, and also Daily Post. I am Abiodun Sampson. Stay tuned as we dive into the stories that made it to the front page of the dailies for this morning. And this morning, I will be starting with The Nation with this headline that says Nigerians in Middle East send distress calls as governor halts pilgrimage. And also, federal government bans collections of taxes, levies on highways. El Rufai arrival security breach, file for prosecution. And I will be moving forward to the Punch newspaper for this morning that has this headline, tax law. VAT hits record 1 trillion naira as new sharing era begins. Tinubu nominates OYEDELE as minister. Customers to get 20 billion naira meter refunds from Disco, says NERC. El Rufai, DSS detain 5 over airport incident. 1 billion naira suit hangs. Israel versus Iran tension. Airlines lose over 7.5 billion naira amid grounded flights. Also on the Punch newspaper for this morning, the 4th of March 2026, with this headline that says, Baby Factory, Ondo couple jailed 14 years. Rivers Assembly begins screening of 9 Fubara commissioners nominees. APC inaugurates state local government ESCOs after consensus polls. Federal government ban cash tax collections, revenue roadblocks. And those are the stories from The Punch and also from The Nation. And moving forward to Daily Post with this headline that says Iran Nigeria in trouble too, Akim Baba Ahmed. And this is from the Daily Post. And also, I would rather die than betray my predecessor, says Governor Bumi declares. Nigerian politicians only serving their pockets, says Ubani. And those are the stories from Daily Post for this morning. And I will be starting off with the Punch newspaper for this morning with this first headline that says tax law. VAT hits record 1 trillion naira as new sharing era begin. Total value added tax earning rose to 1.08 trillion naira in January as a new sharing formula commenced, altering how the proceeds are split among federal government, state and local government. Document presented at the February meeting of the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee on Tuesday shows that the total VAT collections by the Nigerian Revenue Service stood at 1.08 trillion in January 2026 compared with 913.96 billion naira in December 2025. The increase of 169.20 billion naira represents as 18.5% rise month on month. However, the full 1.08 trillion naira was not available for sharing. VAT deduction at source amounted to 79.94 billion in January, up from 67.45 billion naira in December, leaving a net VAT of 1 trillion naira for distribution. In December, the net VAT share stood at 846.51 billion naira. The month-on-month increase in the net distributable VAT was 156.72 billion naira, also representing an 18.5% increase. And the story continues on the Punch newspaper for this morning. The newspaper review on your dial 101.5 FM JDN radio, and I'm still on the Punch newspaper for this morning, and I have this headline that says Tinubu nominates Oyedele as minister. President Bola Tinubu has nominated the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, as Minister of State for Finance. Oyedele replaces Dr. Doris Anite Uzoka, who has been redeployed to the Ministry of Budgets and Economic Planning as Minister of State, our third portfolio in the administration. The President on Monday conveyed Oyedele's nominations to the state for confirmation in a letter to the State President, Godswill Akpabio, according to a statement by Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga. Oyedele, 50, from Akoko, Ondo State, is an economist, accountant, and public policy expert who led the comprehensive overhaul of Nigeria's tax system. The committee, inaugurated in August 2023, delivered 4 executive bills that consolidated over 60 taxes into fewer than 10 status, introducing significant reforms, including a zero-income tax rate for Nigerians earning 800,000 naira annually or less, And the Tax Reform Act, which took effect on January 1st, 2026, also exempted small businesses with turnover below 50 million naira from companies' income tax, capital gain tax, and development levy. Other provisions include a 50% tax deductions for companies hiring new workers for 3 years, a 50% deductions for wage increases to the lowest paid employees, and a 5-year corporate tax holiday for agricultural enterprise. And this story continues on the Punch newspaper for this morning, the 4th of March, 2026. The newspaper review on JDN Radio 101.5 FM, and I'm still looking at the stories from the headlines from the Punch newspaper, and I have this headline that says customers to get 20 billion naira meter refunds from discos, says NERC. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has ordered all electricity distribution companies to pay 20.33 billion naira in outstanding meter reimbursement to customers under the Meter Asset Provider Framework. The Commission directed that the total amount must be recovered and fully disbursed to affected customers over 12 months commencing on March 1st, 2026. Under the MAP scheme, customers pay for meters and are refunded by their discos through the energy credits. However, the Commission noted that the level of refunds had been very slow over the years, necessitating a new order. Order number NEC/2026/025, which amends the previous 2023 order on the reimbursement of meter cost, was signed by the NERC chairman Musili Oseni and the Commissioner Legal Licensing and Compliance at NERC, Dafe Akinpeye, on February 27, 2026. NEC stated that as of December 31, 2025, DISCO had failed to reimburse customers for meters procured under the MAP framework, leaving an outstanding 20.33 billion naira. And this story continues on the Punch newspaper for this morning. If you're just tuning in, it's still your dial 101.5 FM, JDN Radio Broadcasting for all, and it's still the newspaper review, and I'm still on the Punch newspaper for this morning, the 4th of March, 2026. And with this headline, El Rufai, DSS detains 5 over airport incident, 1 billion naira seat hangs. The Department of State Service has arrested 5 security operatives in connections with events surrounding the return of former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai to Nigeria from Egypt on February 12, 2026. Those arrested are Ayuba Yakubu, ASP, a police officer, Murtala Inua of the DSS, Najib Murtala, ASI of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Musa Adamu of Aviation Security, AVSEC, and Saliu Victor of AVSEC. The arrest followed a joint investigation conducted by the DSS, the Nigerian Immigration Service, the Nigerian Customs Service, and the Federal Ministry of Aviation. The development comes as the fundamental right enforcement suit filed by El-Rufai against the Independent Corrupt Practice and Other Related Offences Commission and others was heard at the Federal High Court in Abuja due to the absence of counsels for the respondents. On February 12, Operatives of the DSS reportedly attempted to arrest El-Rufai upon his arrival at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, but were unsuccessful. Spokesperson of the former governor, Muyiwa Adekeye, disclosed that security operatives allegedly seized El-Rufai's international passport during the incident. In a post, Adekeye stated that the former governor declined to accompany the operatives without a formal invitation, after which his passport was taken from an aide. And the story continues on the Punch newspaper for this morning. Alright, with this headline from the Punch, Israel versus Iran tensions. Airline lose over 7.5 billion naira amid grounded flights. International airlines operating between Nigeria and the Middle East are counting losses running into billions of naira following the escalating conflict involving the United States, Israel, and Iran, which has forced multiple airspace closures and grounded aircrafts. Finding shows that the major carriers operating daily flights between Nigeria and key Middle East hubs were unable to operate scheduled services after the crisis intensified, leaving aircraft stranded and passengers disrupted. The two major airlines flying into Doha, Qatar, and United Arab Emirates were held back in Nigeria as hostilities escalated and the airspace in part of the region was shut. It was revealed that Emirates and Qatar Airlines have remained grounded at the Lagos airport due to the closure of the airspace in their home countries. Both airlines were scheduled to operate high-capacity aircraft on the affected routes. Emirates was built to deploy its Boeing 777-300ER with a certain capacity of between 354 and 360 passengers, while Qatar Airlines was to operate its Boeing 787-800, capable of carrying between 210 and 250 passengers. Using the conservative seating figures of 354 passengers for Emirates and 210 for Qatar Airlines, a minimum of 554 passengers were expected to depart Nigeria in a single rotation, with a cumulative average put at about 560 passengers. And the story continues on the Punch newspaper for this morning. And moving forward to Daily Post with this headline that says, Iran, Nigeria in trouble too. Hakim Baba Ahmed. Amid the ongoing tension in Iran, former advisor to President Bola Tinubu on political matters, Hakim Baba Ahmed, has said that Nigeria too is in trouble. Baba Ahmed stated this on Tuesday during an interview. He was speaking about the attack on Iran by the United States and its ally, Israel. It was reported that the United States and the Israeli launched airstrikes on Iran on Saturday, resulting in the death of its supreme leader and other top political office holders. Hearing his own opinion, Baba Ahmed said, Nigeria too is in trouble. We're not safe, and what is going on in Iran? The world is by now aware of the fact that 2 days ago the United States of America and Israel attacked the state of Iran, killed its leader, and a number of very senior political and military officers, as well as a number of other citizens, Clearly, the United States has decided to effect regime change, meaning removal of the entire leadership of Iran, and maybe installing a different one, or giving a chance to the citizens of Iran to choose who will next govern them. Unfortunately, it doesn't work as neatly as leaders like President Donald Trump think. What we are likely to have is what we are beginning to see now: a lot of chaos, prolonged crisis, both within Iran and around it, and a lot of uproar around the world. And the story continues on Daily Post for this morning. I'm still on Daily Post with this headline that says, "I would rather die than betray my predecessors," Governor Boni declares. Yobe State Governor Mai Malam Boni has made a powerful declaration saying he would rather die than to betray his political godfather and current ministers of police affairs, Alhaji Ibrahim Gandhiam. Boni made the declaration on Tuesday while addressing the delegates shortly after the conclusions of All Progressive Congress (APC) Congress held in Damaturu, the Yobe State capital. He said, "I would rather die than betray our mentor, Alhaji Ibrahim Gandhiam. I remain deeply grateful to him for the role he played in my political journey. I would never forget where I'm coming from, and I will never turn my back on the man who trusted and supported me," he said. He told the gathering that noted political careers are built on trust, noting that he is a product of trust. "I always want to be remembered as someone who never betrays anybody," he declared. And the governor charged the newly elected political officials in the state to remain steadfast, urging them to uphold trust and integrity in the discharge of their responsibilities. And the story continues on Daily Post for this morning. Right, in like 3 to 5 minutes, if you want to be part of the conversation of the newspaper review on JDN Radio 101.5 FM, you can call into the studio line on 07048 001015 and 08022102163. And while will I wait for you to call, I will take this from Daily Post that says, "Nigerian politicians only serving their pockets," says Ubani. Executive Director of Fixed Politics Initiative, Anthony Ubani, has lashed out at the current political leaders, saying they are not serving Nigerians but their pockets. Ubani said this on Tuesday when he was featured in an interview. According to him, those set of people would rather come into power with nothing to their name, lamenting that by the time they are leaving office, they already had mansions in their village, Lagos, and secret ones in the United States. It is not rocket science. The average person on the street can define what the current leadership is right about now. You talk about servant leadership, it means you come into power on the basis of serving the people and building the country. Those currently in power are serving their pocket, not Nigerians. They are far too gone with corruptions. They came into power without anything, some not even a bicycle, but by the time they leave office, they already have stored wealth for themselves," he said. And this story continues on Daily Post for this morning for the 4th of March, 2026. And I will be rounding up this morning on the newspaper review on JDN Radio 101.5 FM. I know you have a reactions, but do not forget that the newspaper review will come in Yoruba language translation shortly after I leave. So stay tuned and you can pull your code through as at that time and let them know your opinion, your contributions about the stories that made it to the front page of the dailies for this morning. I remain Abiodun Samson, and do not forget that the newspaper review continues tomorrow, same time 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. on your dial 101.5 FM, JDN Radio, the only radio station that is broadcasting for all. I remain Abiodun Samson. Till then, bye.